you have a kid, it's like life-changing, it's crazy. You have a second one and it's like, well, I already have one, so it's not a big deal. But there's one like at number 3 or number 4, probably number 3, where now the kids outnumber the parents. And you're like, okay, we're not man-to-man anymore, we're zone defense kind of thing, right? And I feel like that 4th laundromat is almost like that 3rd kid, where you're like, you can kind of manage 1, 2, maybe 3. 3's kind of on the border there, and 4 is like a different level in my mind for some reason. Is that true for you? Has that proven to be the case? Is it too soon to tell?
Well, no, we've actually purchased it in August last year.
Okay.
So we have, what is that, like, is that six months approximately since we purchased? And I mean, I agree with you. I would say, so we did at one point have another 4th laundry. However, and we sold that. It just, that wasn't the right fit for us in terms of like the location and things like that. So we have a little bit of experience. That was a different, that was more of a little bit of a mom and pop store, not as large as this 4th location, but it definitely so the other factor here is it's an hour from our house. So all of our other laundries were between like 15 minutes to 45 minutes or so. So that extra, I think 15 minutes, believe it or not,
each way,
right? Yeah. Driving down there, right, and back twice a week at this point is how frequently we're going to that store. It definitely was it's a change, and it's more time and more effort. However, I feel like we have gotten so good in terms of our systems, our finances, how we run and operate a store. It felt like, okay, we can definitely do this and take this on as a challenge. And the store itself was actually, operating really well in terms of like how the store was being managed. We've changed a few things, but nothing crazy. So we knew we were walking into something that was like, okay, this is, making money. It has a staff. One of the staff members ended up retiring, which was totally fine. And we actually ended up bringing somebody else on who's like a part-time manager who is a really great resource. So I would say without, our knowledge and our experience and like how our operations blueprint, if you want to call it, and probably that assistant manager, right? Like we wouldn't be as successful as we are. But overall, the store is thriving. It's doing well. It does have some really close competition, which has been interesting because some of our other stores don't have that close competition in terms of proximity. So we've had to tread a little bit lightly in terms of like pricing and adjustments there. We actually purchased the laundromat from another owner, he had another laundromat in town. So he has 2 locations and he sold one. So we're still in contact with him. We're in communication with them around pricing. We don't want to price ourselves out because they are pretty close in terms of proximity. But overall, that's doing well. I did have I had an interesting experience happen again. If you listen to my previous podcast, I talked about Christmas Eve of, what would that be, like 2021? Yes, Christmas Eve 2021. My laundromat had like a total sewer backup, had to go down there, clean it up, shut down the store for like several days to get our entire sewer line replaced. And I jokingly said like, oh, haha, nothing bad can happen again this year, the sewer's fixed. And literally our newest location, the one we just purchased, unfortunately got so cold here in Pennsylvania. I think it was about it felt like -13, and we had a water break on Christmas Eve. So yeah, I feel like I jinxed myself, but it wasn't as bad as we thought. We thought like the whole store needed shut down, but it ended up just being one washer. So like, that's good. Knocking on wood right now.
Did the pipe freeze? I don't understand. I don't really know how all that works because I've never been in that cold of weather before.
Yeah, you're spoiled, but it normally, I will say it was really cold. It normally doesn't get that cold and stay that cold, and it felt like the negatives for I think over 24 hours. And I think that's why like our laundromat wasn't able to sustain the heat behind the washer. Nice. So now we have a electric heater back there for the days that it gets really cold.